The year 1939 dawned over a Europe teetering on the precipice of war. The seeds of conflict, sown in the aftermath of the First World War, had taken root and grown into a tangled web of resentment, ambition, and fear. Germany, still smarting from its defeat and burdened by the harsh terms of the Treaty of Versailles, saw in its charismatic leader, Adolf Hitler, a promise of redemption and a return to greatness. Driven by a potent mix of nationalism and a desire for Lebensraum, or living space, Hitler set in motion a series of aggressive foreign policy moves that would ultimately plunge the world into another devastating conflict. The remilitarization of the Rhineland in 1936, the annexation of Austria in 1938, and the dismemberment of Czechoslovakia the same year, all served to escalate tensions in Europe. Each act of aggression was met with a mixture of appeasement and inaction from the Western powers, emboldening Hitler and feeding his belief that he could achieve his goals through force without triggering a wider war. Poland, strategically located between Germany and the Soviet Union, became the focal point of Hitler's ambitions. Long coveted by Germany, Poland represented a crucial piece in Hitler's grand design for an eastward expansion. Moreover, the presence of the free city of Danzig, a predominantly German-speaking city within Poland, provided Hitler with a convenient casus belli, or pretext for war. As the summer of 1939 wore on, the world watched with bated breath as the drums of war beat louder. The stage was set for a conflict that would redefine the geopolitical landscape and leave an indelible mark on human history. In the intricate game of international diplomacy, alliances are often forged not out of shared values, but out of mutual self-interest. Such was the case with the German-Soviet Nonaggression Pact, signed in Moscow on August 23, 1939. This seemingly improbable agreement between two ideologically opposed regimes, Nazi Germany and Communist Russia, sent shockwaves throughout Europe and paved the way for the invasion of Poland. For Hitler, the pact served a dual purpose. It neutralized the threat of a two-front war, a nightmare that had haunted German strategists since the First World War. Furthermore, it provided Germany with the diplomatic cover it needed to launch its attack on Poland without fear of immediate Soviet intervention. On the Soviet side, Joseph Stalin, the calculating and ruthless dictator of the Soviet Union, saw the pact as an opportunity to buy time and expand his own sphere of influence. The secret protocol attached to the pact, which remained hidden from the world until after the war, outlined the division of Eastern Europe into German and Soviet spheres of influence. Poland, caught in the middle, was to be partitioned between the two totalitarian powers. News of the pact stunned the world. It was a clear indication that the fragile peace that had prevailed in Europe was about to shatter. For Poland, the pact spelled disaster, leaving the country caught between the hammer and anvil of two ruthless dictators. The countdown to war had begun. At dawn on September 1, 1939, the relative calm of the European continent was shattered by the roar of German artillery and the screech of dive bombers. Operation Weiss, the German invasion of Poland, had begun, marking the beginning of the Second World War. German forces, spearheaded by panzer divisions employing the innovative tactics of Blitzkrieg or lightning war, surged across the Polish border. Fast-moving armored columns, supported by waves of dive bombers and Stuka dive bombers, punched holes in Polish defences, bypassed centres of resistance and sowed chaos and confusion in their wake. The Polish army, though valiant, was ill-prepared for the ferocity and speed of the German attack. Outnumbered, outgunned and outmaneuvered, Polish forces found themselves fighting a desperate losing battle against a technologically superior enemy. The Luftwaffe, the German Air Force, played a crucial role in the early stages of the invasion. Enjoying air superiority from the outset, German bombers targeted Polish airfields, communication centres and troop concentrations, effectively crippling the Polish ability to wage war. The invasion of Poland was swift and brutal. Within days, German forces had advanced deep into Polish territory, capturing key cities and inflicting heavy casualties. The Polish government, realizing the futility of further resistance, fled into exile in Romania. The outbreak of World War II in 1939 pitted the Axis powers, led by Germany, against the Allied powers, initially comprising Great Britain, France and Poland. On paper, the Allies held a significant advantage in terms of manpower, industrial capacity and access to resources. However, the German war machine, honed to a razor's edge during years of preparation, proved to be a far more formidable force in the early stages of the war. Germany, under Hitler's rearmament program, had built a modern and highly effective military force. The Wehrmacht, the German armed forces, was particularly renowned for its discipline, training and leadership. German infantry divisions, though smaller than their Allied counterparts, were better equipped with machine guns, mortars and anti-tank weapons. Perhaps the most striking difference between the German and Allied armies lay in the realm of armoured warfare. Germany had embraced the concept of Blitzkrieg, which relied heavily on the concentrated use of tanks and motorized infantry. The panzer divisions, equipped with the formidable Panzer III and Panzer IV tanks, spearheaded German offensives, their speed and firepower overwhelming enemy defences. The Allies, in contrast, entered the war with a more traditional military doctrine. While they possessed significant tank forces, these were often dispersed among infantry units rather than concentrated into independent armoured formations. This lack of armoured concentration would prove to be a critical weakness in the face of the German Blitzkrieg. Section 5. Lightning War, the Blitzkrieg Doctrine. Blitzkrieg, German for lightning war, was a military doctrine that emphasized speed, maneuver, and the concentrated use of firepower to achieve decisive victory. Developed in the interwar years by German military theorists, Blitzkrieg sought to avoid the static trench warfare that had characterized World War I and instead deliver swift, decisive blows that would cripple the enemy's ability to resist. The key to Blitzkrieg lay in the close coordination of armored infantry and air power. Panzer divisions, spearheaded by tanks and supported by motorized infantry, would punch holes in enemy lines, bypass centers of resistance, and create chaos and confusion in the enemy's rear areas. The Luftwaffe, the German Air Force, played a crucial role in supporting ground operations by providing close air support, disrupting enemy supply lines, and demoralizing enemy troops. The success of Blitzkrieg depended on a number of factors, including surprise. German attacks were often launched with little or no warning, catching the enemy off guard and unprepared. Speed was another critical element. Fast-moving panzer divisions supported by motorized infantry could cover vast distances quickly, overwhelming enemy defenses before they had time to react. Concentration of force was also essential, with German commanders focusing their forces at key points to achieve local superiority in numbers and firepower. Close air support from the Luftwaffe was vital in supporting ground operations, disrupting enemy supply lines and demoralizing enemy troops. Finally, disruption of communications was a key tactic, as German attacks often targeted enemy communication centers, making it difficult for enemy commanders to coordinate their defenses. The Blitzkrieg Doctrine proved to be highly effective in the early years of World War II, allowing German forces to achieve stunning victories over Poland, France, and other European countries. However, the doctrine had its limitations. It relied heavily on good roads and favorable weather conditions, and it was vulnerable to counterattacks by well-equipped and determined enemies. The Luftwaffe, Germany's air force, played a crucial role in the early stages of World War II. With advanced aircraft and innovative tactics, they dominated the skies over Europe. Their primary goal was to support ground operations by targeting enemy infrastructure and military formations. The Luftwaffe's effectiveness was a key factor in Germany's initial successes. Despite their efforts, the Allies found themselves outmatched and outmaneuvered. German forces, utilizing Blitzkrieg tactics, moved with unprecedented speed and coordination. The Allies struggled to adapt to this new form of warfare, often finding their defenses overwhelmed before they could mount a proper response. This period was marked by rapid German advances and significant Allied losses. The events of 1939 had profound implications for the future of the world. The invasion of Poland and the subsequent declarations of war by Britain and France marked the beginning of a global conflict that would reshape nations and alter the course of history. The decisions and actions taken during this pivotal year set in motion a chain of events that would lead to unprecedented destruction and ultimately a redefined global order.